Hi, my name is Mark Goodwin, and I believe I've titled this Let There Be a Sign. You'll forgive my cohort in the background, Chica Dog. She really enjoys hearing her own voice. First of all, I want to ask you, how are you today? If you said great and you meant it, that's wonderful. But if you said great and you didn't meant it, let's be honest with each other, okay? You're alive. If you happen to not have any diseases running rampant in your body, when I talk about disease, I'm talking about stage 4 brain cancer, stuff like that, because that's what took my wife not that long ago, about 10 weeks ago. This world is an amazing place. It really is. But it's only amazing with you in it. Okay? You have to be in it. Life is not a spectator sport. It's a great sport. Now, I've never been one to play football, soccer. Nah, not my thing. I was always a fat kid. Okay? I guess I'm still a fat adult, but I'm not as fat as I used to be. Okay? I used to weigh 547 pounds. I think I'm approaching, let me think. I'm at 258 last check. A friend of mine came to the house and she said her scale was broken. And I said, take mine. She goes, well, what will you use? I said, got this doctor up the street. Yeah, I got this doctor up the street, and he'll see to it. They love to weigh you. You know, ever notice that? You know, they direct you. I had the girls actually apologize to me for asking me to get on the scale. And I'm like, it's just a piece of metal. But what it really is to some of us is a cast iron God. And when we get on the scale, what we're basically saying, some of us, did I get away with it? If maybe a day before you ate too much or you made some bad nutritional choices, I need to explain something to you. Okay? Just hear me out. Whatever you did yesterday is gone. You can't go back and get it. All right? It's history. All right? Tomorrow is not here yet. So all we have is today. And that's why they call it the present. Because today is a present. And I tell you why. There are a group of people today that did not wake up. It's just a statement. They did not wake up. They died in their sleep. And like when my wife took ill 3 years ago, stage 4 brain cancer, then I knew this was a death sentence. And I devoted my life to taking care of her to the point that now it's hard to take care of me. Now I have someone special in my life. He only met about 10 days ago, and we met online. And I have been told it's too soon. And I tell those people, too bad. Because I now live in a 1,244 square foot house. The place is huge. I've never lived by myself. Okay, I have, but when I was married to Joy for 42 years. Okay, and believe me, that's a long time. And I was not always kind to her. I wish I could sit here and say I was kind all the time, that I was the perfect husband, and la-di-la-di. No. And I was not always a good father. Oh, I never beat my kids or anything, but I wasn't patient. Let me tell you something about marriage and children. Raising children and being married are the two most important jobs in the world, and it's the only jobs you don't get trained for. Right? And that's a shame. That's an absolute shame. I mean, this is why the divorce rate is so high. And just an aside here, people that go into arranged marriage have a very low divorce rate. Because you know what? They don't have a long courtship. They just boom, some people get married on that day, and that's the first time they meet. And I think there's something to that. Will I ever get married again? I have no idea. But person I'm seeing does check all the boxes. But I lost my wife 10 weeks ago. It's a little early to even think of such a thing. You'll forgive the hound. Okay, she is very upset with the UPS truck driving by. I don't even have to look. It's the UPS truck, trust me. The most important thing you can do today, if I may make a suggestion, for one day. I'm only asking you to do this for one day. Okay, one 24-hour segment of time, or the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep tonight. I'd like you to consider avoiding, as in not eating, sugar, flour, and wheat. You're probably saying, well, why? What else is there to eat? First of all, there's plenty. Okay. About 8 years ago, I got a knot in my intestines. I'm trying to remember what they call that. It'll come to me in a minute. And so I was in the hospital, and at one point they said, "You see this tube?" I said, "Yep." It goes, "Now what we're going to do is give you a glass of water." I said, "Okay." And we're going to shove this tube up your nose so it till gets down to your stomach, and all you got to do is drink the water while we're doing it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? And I said, "Oh no, we got to do this." And we did that. And so for about 3 days, I had this tube shoved up my nose, because the body was still producing fluids because of the IVs and all that. So that was basically draining the stomach. And I was just like, wow. And I said, okay, what's the prescription for this knot down there? Bowel obstruction. See, I knew I'd get it. And they said the prescription is you're going to walk. You're just going to keep walking around this level floor of the hospital. It's always in a square, and you just keep going as much as you can. Just bring your little IV with you, and get back to the room, plug it in, or we'll plug it in. And that's what I did. Forgive Chica, she knows what she does. Anyway, Finally, when it was all over, they came in, they said, okay, we're going to remove the tube. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, are you giving me, something to numb the pain? And then they just looked at me and as they held the tube in their hand, I had the feeling what was going to happen. Wham! I yanked it out. It didn't hurt. Going in, it hurt. But after that, I learned a simple lesson: to walk. They said from this point on, you must walk. See the gadget? Fitbit. It tells me how far I walked. Yesterday, it was over 3 miles. Now, at one time, I was up to 5 miles. What happened was knee replacements. I've had both knees replaced. The first one was like a dream. Boom. No problem. The second one, it's not the knee, it's the fact that because I was taking care of Joy, especially in the end, I wasn't doing my exercises, all that kind of stuff, because I was taking care of her. So now I am back out there, pounding the pavement. Yesterday, like I said, 3 miles and 3 miles and 3.17. I'd like to break that record today. I would. And I know I can. And so, probably in a little bit, that's what I'm going to do. Of course, Chica's going to love that. My little dog just loves long walks. It doesn't matter if it's rain, hail, cold, she's not a fan of. Like when I say cold, like 8 degrees, it's amazing how quickly she will do what she has to do out there in 8 degrees. Yeah, she's pretty good like that. But you today have to take care of yourself. Okay? And you're going to do that by no sugar, no flour, no wheat. By the way, that means no honey. Okay? No honey, okay? No honey, no artificial sweeteners, no caffeine. Now listen, if you can't do the no caffeine, don't worry about it. Okay? That can come down the road. I go to this little group called faacanhelp.org. That's the web address. faacanhelp.org. You go there, and there's a meeting list. And we'll meet just like this. It's virtual, there's phone, and there's email meetings. And here's the rub. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, if you want to contribute, you contribute. If you don't want to contribute, maybe you give your time. Maybe you do something similar to what I'm doing right now. And right now, I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Now, I'm 66 years old, so yeah, I'm an old man. But when I had my friend up last weekend, I did not feel like an old man, if you catch my drift. Okay? I got a bad habit. I surround myself with intelligent women. Now, if you're going to get married, now this is just a little humor here, all right? Men, if you're going to get married, this is a very important question you have to ask your wife-to-be. You're going to ask her the following question: why is the sky blue? Now, if they come back, they say, well, atmospheric changes causing the ion, the positive and negative to hit together, and that's why we get these storms, and this is why we get, and okay, once they start talking like that, run. Don't walk, run away. Okay. Now, they say, because it's not green, you've got a winner. Okay, girls, you can use that one too. Now, this is only a joke, obviously, because I married a woman that was crazy intelligent. Oh my gosh, she was intelligent. And is. Because if I know Joy, she's in heaven talking to the Lord right now. And I'm like, I don't know, Lord. We got these nail prints everywhere. And, whose job is this to take care of it? And you see, those are really dangerous words to ask the Lord, because he'll just turn to her and say, it's your job. Be careful what you volunteer for, okay? I mean, especially with the Almighty. I mean, like if you say something to your wife, let's go to church this weekend. See, a woman takes that as a promise, because that's what it is. And you just didn't just promise her, you promised God. All right? And there's a blueprint for your life. It's a blueprint for your life in a book. And it's a very well constructed book. It's in order, all that. And now I've got 2 sons that don't believe in God. And you know what? That's no problem. Really. You know why? God believes in them. They're great boys. They really are. I mean, I could not ask for better sons. And that includes one that does believe in God up in Maine. I have a lovely daughter that is up in Maine as well. She's about 4 hours away. And Josh is about 13 hours away. I don't foresee myself driving up to see Josh. I just don't foresee that happening. Okay? Now, it's 13 hours, say, a normal person driving. Now, my son David drives, I'd say 9 hours. Yeah, he catches a tailwind, all right? Don't ask me how, but, and he has the vehicle. He's got this GMC truck, double cab, sucker's fully loaded. Seats even warm up your bum. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, Well, I suppose it could, but let's not go there. Never been to my son's house because, every time they've gone up, I had knee surgery, I had all that kind of stuff. But thank God we live in a time where such things can be corrected. But I bring them before my Father's throne. And I read the Bible every night. Just because my wife's gone, that doesn't mean anything changed. My little dog and I sit there and read a chapter a night, Bible in 3 years. I'm partial to the King James. I'm very partial to Proverbs. Okay. Now, a lot of people will say, read the book of John first. That's fine. But after you read the book of John, or a chapter in the book of John, you might want to flip to the Old Testament and go to the book of Proverbs. All right? Proverbs has 31 chapters. That's one for every day of the month. And if you're feeling really adventurous, the book of Job. The book of Job was the first book chronologically written in the Bible. It's true. And if you think you had a bad day, read the book of Job. It's a learning experience, okay? Because Job was well favored by the Lord. He had children. He had land. He had his health. You ever notice some Jewish folk that if you're down on yourself, they sit there and say, well, you have your health. And trust me, your health is your most valuable asset on a physical level. Because I saw when my wife started acting wrong, she said, I'm falling forward and I'm falling backward. I've never seen this type of behavior. So, hello, emergency room. We were there for probably about 9 hours. And that's when they told me Joy had a brain tumor. And they had to send her to a different hospital because they didn't have a neurosurgeon there. And that's when we found out, when she got there, she had a glioblastoma. A glioblastoma, for hers, it was located right about here, about the size of a silver dollar. The sucker had roots. Ever try to pull a dandelion out? That kind of roots. It went all the way down. Within the first month, I saw the change in her. And I was given a timeline of 1 to 2 years, and Joy made it 2 years and 4 months. It was brutal. But my God reigns. He is high and lifted up, and his train fills the temple. And I am grateful for those 2.5 years. I hope none of you have to go through what I went through. Because as much as she went through it, I went through it too. Because I took care of her. I did everything she needed to do. Now, unfortunately, when some people get a glioblastoma, they decide it's going to stay in the house. Her life is over. That was Joy's inclination, but we encouraged her to go places. So every 3 months or so, we found a place that Joy would like to go. She wanted to go to the beach. We went to the beach twice. Okay, that's 3 months, 3 months, 6 months. You get the picture. Okay? And, but time marched on. And finally, I noticed she was falling. This was in the last, I'm going to go with 8 weeks, 6 weeks. And when she fell, I couldn't get her up. I had to call 911. And they would come, they would lift her up. And I had moved us to the room closest to the bathroom. Is what it is. And within a very short time, she couldn't use the bathroom. Couldn't get there fast enough. So I had a choice to make. I called the hospital. I said, this is what's going on. And they said, well, we can move the MRI up. And then they said, but. I said, but what? She goes, it means the disease is progressing. This is Chica. Chica, say hello. That's Chica. There you go. Okay, that's Chica. Crazy dog. And I said, what are my choices? She goes, it's that or hospice. There's a long pause. And I said, they said, we recommend hospice. Hospice is about encouraging the quality of your life. Hospice is a force of nature, just like a hurricane. Within 24 hours, there was a hospital bed in our old bedroom, which was empty, and oxygen. And my boys came, Timmy and David. Great kids, strong kids, if you know what I'm saying. Um, and they carried her from one end of the house to the other, got her comfortable. And then there were the daily visits from the hospice nurse, occasionally a weekend visit. And I saw the change in her. I got her to eat for 3 weeks in there. Then she finally said no. And I called up Julie, the hospice nurse, and I said, "What do I do?" She goes, "Do not give her food. She does not want it. Do not give it to her because it's going to prolong her suffering." What had happened, her kidneys had shut down. Her liver was shutting down. She was getting jaundice. And I guess we were fortunate because she only really truly suffered in the last 4 weeks, I would say. Okay? And I was giving her water. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Giving her water." And they said, "Did she ask for it?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "You gotta stop giving her water." And right before that, Joy became nonverbal, did not have the ability to speak. Very hard. And so I said, "Well, how is she going to ask for water?" And she goes, "She'll make her needs known." Now, should you ever need hospice, I'm going to make a recommendation. Now in Connecticut at least, there's the Connecticut Cremation Society. Joy wanted to be cremated. Me, I don't care what you do with me because I won't be here when I pass. Just the shell will be here. So I got that in place, and the way it works is when a person passes, you make a phone call to hospice, they come down, they verify she is passed, and they call the Cremation Society of Connecticut. These people are top notch. Okay, they came in here, they put her on a board, they brought this big old, it's like a bed on wheels, that kind of thing. And came, they took her out, and I said, "Hang on." See, I sat with my wife for 2 hours after her heart stopped beating because I believe the brain and the hearing are the last things to go. I believe the brain was still firing. Okay. And I talked to her for 2 hours. I held her hand. The hand was ice cold, but I held it. Because this was the last time I was going to see my wife until I get to glory. Don't miss an opportunity like that. Okay? But these people, I did not know this. My wife had something called Title 19. And what that meant was the cremation was paid for. Do you want to know what I paid? $50. Joy's in a little box over there. Joy wants her ashes spread by the lake. We live right on top of the lake. And so Timmy and I one day are going to walk, what do you call it? Walk into the lake, and we're going to release her. Because this is what she wants. Now, in my heart, I would like to have her here with me. Joy wants her ashes spread in the lake. And we're going to do that. Timmy wants some ashes for himself. I'm like, sounds a little morbid, but hey, go with the flow, right? You know. My father's ashes are spread at the Lion's Paw cabin in up by the Catskills. He loved it there. My mother, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I couldn't come. It was right at COVID. I couldn't come. I mean, we'd get there, but we wouldn't be able to get home because the all these gas stations were closed and all that. And it's 300 miles each way. Okay, it's a tank of gas each way. So I wasn't there for my mother's. But if you live in Connecticut, or wherever you live, they got to have something like this. And one day I got a phone call from them, and they said, Mark, the bill is paid. Now, I have talked to people that have paid $6,000 for a cremation. Why? So you can have some pretty place to go to say goodbye, and then should they get cremated? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I carry Joy here. Joy made me who I am today. I think she did a pretty decent job. Was it a perfect marriage? Heck no. Was it a Hallmark marriage? Heck no. You know why? Those two things don't exist. But if there's nothing else, when you lose somebody, you've got to get out of the house. And that means on Sunday, getting to a Bible-believing church. Independent Bible-believing church. And trust me, that independent means something. All right? So I'm going to wind here. I'm going to thank you for your time. And it's been an honor talking to you. Hopefully, the next time I come back, it'll be a little more positive. I like to sign. I like to teach sign. And I hope you have a wonderful day and count your blessings. God bless you.